Prahladanandana Prahladanandana Yasodanandana Prahladanandana Yamunatira Anacharya Yamunatira Anacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Brahmadakacharya Asatara Satushi Shiman His Divine Grace Shalasi Bhaktivedanta Swami Raj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Haribol. Glorious to these sound devotees. All glorious to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Ajnana Tvanandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksuramilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagradatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Vaitam Sabadutam Prajana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shiva Sakans Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karna Sindho Dinabando Dugapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishubhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patiranam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ramanityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hey Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 5, Chapter 13 Rahugana converses with Jada Bharata. Text 19 Atta katanchit samuk vimukta apada punascha saratam pravishat ya rindama Advanya mushmin najaya niveshito Brahmanjanod yapi naveda kaschana Atak katanchit savimukta pada Punascha saratam pravishat inirindama Advanya mushminas jaya niveshito Brahman janod yapi na veda kaschana. Punashasartam pravisharindama. Avanamishman ajaya viniveshito. Brahmanjano dhyapina veda kaschana. Yukta pada. Punashasartam pravisharindama. Veshito Ramanjano Dhyapina Veda Kasyana. Ladies. Vimukta pada Punasasaratam pravisharindama. Advanyam Ushmin Ajayayan Veshito Pramanjano Dhyapina Veda Kaschana. Tajapana Advanyam Jayani Veshito Pramanjano Dhyapina Veda Kasyana. Ata. From this Katanchit somehow Sa He Vimukta liberated Apada from the danger Punacha again Sa'artam taking interest in that life Pravishati begins Arim Dhamma O King, killer of the enemies. Advani on the path of enjoyment. Amushmin that. Ajaya by the influence of the illusory energy. Niveshita being absorbed. Brahman traveling. Jana the conditioned soul. Adya api even up to death. Naveda does not understand. Kaschana anything. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O killer of enemies, King Rahugana, if the conditioned soul somehow or another gets out of his dangerous position, he again returns to his home to enjoy his sex life. For that is a way of attachment. Thus, under the spell of the Lord's material energy, he continues to loiter in the forest of material existence. He does not discover his real interest, even at the point of death. So please repeat, O killer of enemies, Maharaj Rahugana, if the conditioned soul somehow or another gets out of his dangerous position, he again returns to his home to enjoy sex life. For that is the way of attachment. Thus, under the spell of the Lord's material energy, he continues to loiter in the forest of material existence. He does not discover his real interest, even at the point of death. Purport. This is the way of material life. When one is captured by sexual attraction, he becomes implicated in so many ways and cannot understand the real aim of life. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.31 says, Te vidu swartagatim hi Vishnu. Generally, people do not understand the ultimate goal of life. As stated in the Vedas, Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Tada Pashanti Sarayaha. Those who are spiritually advanced simply look to the lotus feet of Vishnu. The conditioned soul, however, not being interested in reviving his relation with Vishnu, becomes captured by material activities and remains in everlasting bondage, being misled by so-called leaders. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswatunde Ve Gauravani Vicharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskatyade Satarane. Material bondage is explained here, as it says in Bhagavad Gita. Indriyani manobuddhir asyadishtanam uchate eter vimohoyatyeka jnanamariti dehinam. The senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of lust, which veils the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. And then Prabhupada explains what the process of becoming entangled in the material energy is. It begins with hearing. Generally speaking, in modern society, everyone, with the glorification going on, because hearing means glorification, good or bad, is all about sense gratification in one form or another. Culminating in sex life, of course, because this is Pumsa, Striya, Maituni, Bhavametam. The original attraction is Radha and Krishna and their associates in the spiritual world, and their exchange of love, which just gives unlimited pleasure forever, always getting more sweet, ever expanding. And the material world is a reflection, a perverted reflection of that relationship. Here, someone is imagining themselves Radha or Krishna, or they're imagining themselves to be Romeo or Juliet, or Tarzan or Jane, or Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. Somehow or another, romance has to go on, because otherwise there's not much else going on in the material world worth talking about. And of course, even in the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, there's eating, there's sleeping, and Krishna defends. Here on this platform, there's Kaliya he has to defend against, or Dhenukasura, or whatever. So all these things go on in the spiritual world, but they go on in a spiritual way. And here they go on as a reflection. So somehow or another, everyone is glorifying Shotavyadishu Rajandra Srinam Shanti Sahasra Shaha Apashitam Atmatatvam Griheshu Grihamedina. That everyone in the material existence is speaking and glorifying something. Glorifying what? Mostly eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So the birds, they're also talking. It says everyone is talking about that. The birds say, beep, beep. They're asking the question. Do you know what that means? No one knows bird language. Bird language is the simplest language. If you want to learn another language, you should learn bird language. Beep, beep means, where's the worm? And beep, beep, beep means it's over there. That's the main conversation that's going on. So you've learned another language today. So everyone is asking the same questions. And Nidraya Riyate Nakdam Vavava Yena Chavavayam Divya Charte Arajan Katumba Bharaninava. Everyone is busily asking the questions how to sleep. Nowadays it's become a great problem, how to sleep. When I was in India, going to learn Hatha Yoga from Iyengar in his institute, every day there were some devotees who came with me. You may know of them. One of them was named Hridai Chaitanya Vru. He was going with us. And Mahendra Vru from Bulgaria. Every day we were going to the institute. And on the way we'd pass by people sleeping on the street, homeless people, like a sannyasi. I'm homeless, so. So they were able to, you could see the people sleep on, they were completely peaceful. They were sleeping very soundly. Nothing was disturbing them. But I know one billionaire in London, he had a house that has 40 rooms in it. And every day he has to sleep in a different room because he's afraid someone's going to kidnap him. So these homeless people, they're able to enjoy sleeping much better than this multi-billionaire is able to do. And of course the devotees, for the most part, are not very rich, but we enjoy eating much more than anyone else does. So these things are there. Now, it all begins with hearing. Hearing is a product of intelligence. To know how to hear properly requires intelligence. What we hear is feeding our intelligence. Either we can hear better, reality, or what we're hearing is covering over our intelligence, and therefore we can't actually hear properly what reality is. And from intelligence we can understand it's coming our memory. It goes in reverse. Dhyayato vishayam pumsam sangas teshu pujayate sangas sanjayate kama krodha vijayate. Krodha bhavati samaha smriti vibram sat smriti vibram sat buddhinasho pranashati. So there's one process of becoming entangled, and it begins with looking around because we're bored, we're not happy, we're not satisfied, and we look around. What is there in the material world to make me happy and satisfied? So that's why in modern society, in every big city, they have stores with big glass windows and all these different objects in the window. Come and enjoy, come and enjoy. Just come inside and you can enjoy. Pay a little bit for your enjoyment and you can take it home with you. So everywhere there's the sense objects. Everyone's trying to look enjoyable. If someone doesn't look enjoyable, then people think this person's useless because I can't enjoy them. So, and when we're not having a good time, we look around, what will give me a good time? What will make me happy? And then we become attached to something. I need this. I can't. Just like children on television, they have advertisements for the children because the children's minds are kind of open, and they have some sense objects, some colors, there's candy and floating everywhere in the sky, and tell your parents you need this. Don't let them go. Bite into them until they finally yield and buy you what you need for your happiness. And so the child's mind gets fixed. I need this. They become obsessed. And they tell the parents, you got to get it for me. No, you got to get it for me. Even Prabhupada said when he wanted to get a gun, he said, Father, buy me this toy gun. His father said, Mohan said, no, I can't buy it for you. And so Prabhupada threw himself on the street, began to, with his hands beating on the ground and his legs flailing, And what was Prabhupada's father's name? Raj Mahan? Gaur Mahan. He had to buy it for him. And after Prabhupada got the gun, immediately he threw himself on the street again. Ah! Gaur Mahan said, I just got you the gun. He said, I need one for my other hand too. So then we become attached, and from the attachment comes greed. 2 guns, I need 2 guns. And from the greed comes anger. You're useless. And then illusion comes because we imagine I'm a victim. Usually we're a victim. Nowadays we're all victims. We don't do anything wrong. It's everyone else who's doing something wrong. And from the victimhood comes, we forget actually what really happened. We invent. Out of illusion, we concoct a whole story within our mind. Everyone's living a story, their own story. No one else believes it, but everyone is firmly fixed. My story is real. My story is real, and everyone else's story is just an imagination. And from there, we just lose our intelligence. We don't see we're eternal. We don't see the super soul. We don't understand what the goal of life is. We have no idea what's going on. It's just, I got to live my pastime here in the material world, where I become Romeo or Juliet or Tarzan or Jane or Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse. Somehow or another, I got to live my story up until the moment of death. But the opposite is there also. If we hear we're eternal, which is the first instruction of Bhagavad Gita, that we're not this body, if we believe that our bodies are changing, which is quite hard for most people to accept. They may believe, yes, my body's changing, but they don't accept it, that it's really changing. What to speak of death? Ahani bhutani gachanti yamalayam. Sheshastara icchanti kimascharyam atak param. Maharaj Yudhisthira said to his father in the shape of a yaksha, the most amazing thing is that at every moment we can all see that so many living entities are entering into death, into the abode of Yamaraj. Of course, we don't usually see people dying in the Western world, but a lot of insects we watch die, ants and whatever. So if we believe there's a soul inside their body, their death, it's not like they think, just step on me. I'm just an ant. Doesn't really matter. I'm here for you to step on me. No, their death is just as important to them as a human being's death. They're not sitting, they're just walking around waiting for someone to stomp on them. That's not how things work in the material world. But they die, and we see so many living entities are entering into death, but we're thinking, I'm going to stay behind here and live forever. Therefore, Krishna says our bodies are changing. It's a sure sign they're not getting younger for most of us. We don't look in the mirror every year and say, wow, it's amazing, I'm getting younger. I can't believe it. It's getting older, and we can see other people with old bodies, they usually leave them after some time. It's not surprising. But we believe we're going to be here. So, using our intelligence, that much intelligence we have to have if we want to be human beings at least, that my body's changing. Now, most people are not going to come to this class and hear that your body's changing. It's the last thing they want to hear. That's not the last thing, but it's one of the last things. The last thing they want to hear is that they're not God in some way or another. The first thing they want to hear is how wonderful we are. Oh, my dear audience, you're so effulgent, I can hardly see you. You're so beautiful and wise and learned. I don't know why I'm giving the class. Every one of you should come up here and give the class. You think, wow, this speaker actually knows something. He knows how to give class at least. But if the speaker sits there and says, my dear fellow students, your bodies are changing. What? How dare you tell me my body's changing? Why are you insulting me like that? And you're the soul within the body, you're not changing. Now you're talking about some imaginary soul. Soul. Most people, when they hear about the soul, they think the mind, my mind. But my mind's always changing. So, people don't like to hear the fact that they're eternal, although they're working hard to live here as long as possible. And what to speak is that at every moment they're being guided by a person, that there's a supreme controller in everyone's heart giving remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness, that we're not independent, that we're completely dependent at every moment. Either if we want to go to hell, he has to send us there, or if we want to go to heaven, he has to send us there, or if we want to go to the spiritual world, he is the one who sends us there. It's just according to what we've heard, what we think is important. Therefore it says here, Te vidu swartagatim hi Vishnu. Most people don't want to hear about Vishnu, that he's important, and that compared to him, everything else is insignificant. Darashya ye bahya artamanina. They believe so many things are significant. They believe their body is significant, their relative is significant, their country is significant. Everyone is believing something very, very significant that they have to sacrifice all their energy for. And why? Andaya tandira ipigiyamanas pisha tantra urudami bara. Because they're blind. They're not even aware of the fact that they're a soul. What to speak of who they actually are as a soul. And therefore, from the spiritual point of view, everyone is in ignorance. It doesn't matter what degree we have, our prowess, our intelligence, our mind, our fame, whatever. We're all in ignorance. And therefore, we don't even know who we are. We don't know that this body was made out of material energy under Krishna's direction, and it moves under Krishna's direction. Therefore, to understand the body, the difference between the soul and the body, that takes a lot of intelligence. And even more intelligence to accept that there's a person guiding each one of us. And he wants to guide us back to the spiritual world, but we had so much association encouraging us to go to different places in the universe, including hell. So to accept the fact that there's a guide and he can help us, and he's speaking Bhagavad Gita, he has his devotees deliver us Srimad Bhagavatam, so that we can hear from them and then think, well, that's a good idea. Maybe I should go to a place where I can live forever. That's not a bad idea. If there were two doors, it says forever and hell, which one would we choose? Oh, well, hell, it's a little warm today, so maybe I'll go back to the spiritual world today. I'll live there for a while. Not a bad idea. So Krishna is delivering this message in Bhagavad Gita, and he's in our heart, trying to beep, you're eternal, you're a spirit soul, take my guidance, I'll send you back to the spiritual world. Beep, please. Tamashara Ishvara Sarabhutanam Hriday She Arjuna Tishtati Brahmayan Sarabhutani Yantra Rudami Maya. He's directing the wonders of all living entities, but in human form of life, he can give us the highest intelligence. Tam eva sharnam gacha sarabhavena bharata tat prasada param shantim stanam shasvati stanam shasvati. Stanam. No, stanam was the first. Anyhow, surrender unto him in all respects. By his grace, you can obtain eternal peace in the transcendental abode. So, to accept that there's a person right with each one of us. It's not like Krishna is in my heart and he's giving me this remembrance of how to quote these verses, and unfortunately he's not in your heart, so don't even try. That's not the way it works. Krishna is equally in everyone's heart, and he's going to equally give us whatever we want. He's the ultimate Santa Claus. He knows if we've been good or bad, So be good for goodness sake. You better not shout, you better not cry, because Paramatma is coming to town. He's there and he can help us. But what he wants to bring us back to Krishna. Just like here we have Sarup, Gop Kumar, Sarup. And Krishna's so happy to see him. It's not like Krishna's thinking, well, there's that rascal soul, let him go to hell. No, Krishna's our best friend. He wants us to go back to the spiritual world. He wants to give us the intelligence how to do it. He comes from without, as his devotees, repeating the message of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, according to their understanding. And within our heart, he's trying to give us the same enlightenment, the realization. And we just have to hear, and then if we hear enough and we act, then Krishna will enter into our memory. Then we'll remember, yes, everyone is actually Krishna's servant, Krishna is guiding us, and my aim of life should be to realize my loving eternal relation with Krishna in some relationship. Then our illusion will go away. It's not that if we don't hear regularly, that somehow or another our illusion just go away because I change my dress or I change my address, and therefore I enter into the temple and automatically all illusions go away. I come into the temple, and I put on my halo, and everything is beautiful, and I'm in the spiritual world. And then when I go outside the temple, two little horns appear. My tail manifests, trying to tuck it in. And I'm back to normal life again. No, Krishna can help us remember all the time that what our goal of life actually is. And then we'll get out of illusion gradually. As our memory comes back, as illusion dissipates, then our frustrations will go away. Without that, there's no way of getting out of frustration. Doesn't matter what happens in the material world. We hanker for something. Oh, I need this, I need this. Like a little child. Sometimes I go, especially in Australia, because they have these big houses in Australia. And in Australia, especially the Indians, they really want to make sure their children are happy. So they have one whole big room, half the size of this room, for the children's toys. So in America, they have to add an extra room. They have to build an extra room on their house for the children's toys. So the children get all these toys. I mean, my toys when I grew up were pennies and nickels. I imagine the pennies were soldiers in their opposition with the nickels. I had some, I mean, I liked the coins, so anyhow, I didn't mind playing with them. But now they have these big, they have these tractors and things like that. They have these, train sets, go roll around the house. And half the toys are broken because they couldn't live without them, and they couldn't live with them after some time. So they, you rascal toy. You're dead. So then this anger, this frustration go away. And from there, the greed. I need so many things. I can't live without these things. Then when the lust will go away, when we'll be able to tolerate lust. That I need this, I can't live, I have to satisfy my lust. That the more one becomes absorbed in Krishna consciousness, then the more the memory will come back, the more the illusion will go away, the more the frustrations will disappear, the more one's greed will diminish, and the more one will become satisfied without any hankerings and lamentations. But in the meantime, as it says, Parama Karuna Bahudvijana Nityai Gora Chandra Sabhavatar Sarashiramani Kevala Anandakanda. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda, is coming with the most joyful process of chanting Hare Krishna, taking prasadam, dancing. What could be more joyful than that? What better process do we want? putting your big toe behind your left ear? Is that really more joyful than dancing, chanting, and feasting? So this is their process. It's Keva Anandakanda. Bhaja Bhaja Vai Chaitanya Nitai. So we should worship Gaur Nitai, Vishvasa Kori, with a great determination. Vishaya Charya Seirase Majya Mukhe Bolo Harya. But we have senses, we have this body, where we're not about to neglect it. It demands something, and we can't, if we stop trying to at least satisfy our senses according to what they really require, then they'll simply bother us more and more, and we won't be able to remember Krishna. We may think I'll starve my senses and I'll remember Krishna, but that's not how it works. The senses will become more and more demanding. Of course, we may forget them after some time, and then we'll just leave our body. We may stop eating for some time, and the body will give up. Say, all right, you want to go to, you want to leave me? Good, so long. You're the worst master I ever had. No, we have to regulate the eating, sleeping, and even mating and defending. Then we can fix our minds upon Krishna. Then we can hear about Krishna. And if we hear about Krishna regularly, how to engage, at least how to eat, sleep, mate, and defend nicely, because it's an art. It's not like we can give up eating, sleeping, mating, or defending, or at least do it properly without learning the art of doing it. So that we get if we do it in Krishna consciousness, just like we have family life with children. People want that for some time. They think children are like little hobbies that you play around with sometime. And maybe they grow up and they take care of you in old age or something. That your hobby sprouts and it becomes, a beautiful family life with a dynasty and everything, disciple succession. Someone to cry when they put you in the grave, over your grave. So when you're floating around as a ghost, you think, well, I did good. My family life is successful. They're crying for me. Don't worry, I'll come back. So actually the best family life is when Krishna is involved. Our hearts are purified of our lust, anger, greed, illusion, forgetfulness, when we actually start treating each other with respect at least, with appreciation, what to speak of love, which is only possible when Krishna is present. Then we actually have real family, the best possible family life that's imaginable. When we bring our children up in Krishna consciousness and we're treating our husband and our wife in Krishna consciousness, then because Krishna is there, everyone becomes pleased and satisfied with our behavior. And then we can have proper sex life, and then we can defend what's actually worth defendable, rather than always defending my false ego, always on guard. Someone might look at me in the wrong way and defend my false ego, which is the worst possible aparadh you can do in this universe. No, we can actually become tolerant and appreciative, and then we can actually, we don't have to eat just to make my mind feel good. We can actually, our mind will feel good because we're thinking about Krishna. And we're seeing others in relationship to Krishna. We have a nice relationship, and therefore we're not being pushed by our minds for sweetness in our mind. Another glubjamin, a sandesh, whatever. And then now my mind feels pacified. And then we can sleep peacefully, dreaming about Krishna, not wake up in the middle of the night, someone stole my glubjamin. My life has become a disaster. So this is Krishna consciousness. We're not only hearing about how Krishna is in the bushes with the gopis, we're trying to hear about how to live life here, so we can actually understand what kind of body I enjoy right now. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, first he says we're not the body, but then as things progress He says, Ukramantam sitim vapi bunjana vagunanvita vimudo nana pashanti jnana chakshusha. The foolish, they not only can't understand how the living entity quits his body, but they also don't know what kind of body they enjoy under the spell of the modes of nature. But those whose eyes were trained to knowledge can see all this clearly. So we're not only trying to understand we're not the body, but we're trying to learn how to use the body in Krishna's service properly so that we can actually absorb our consciousness in Krishna. Krishna consciousness is not only living on the spiritual platform, it's living in Krishna consciousness on this platform also. Then we can actually have the best possible material existence, and we can also cultivate our spiritual existence at the same time. Therefore, Nitevidu Swartikatim Hi Vishnu. If we put Krishna into our existence, then our material existence will get better, our spiritual existence will manifest itself, and then we'll understand Andayatandya. Nitevidu Swartikatim Hi Vishnu. Darashaya ye barhir artamanina. What's actually valuable and what's actually insignificant. And then we can understand Andayatandir upagiyamana. So then we can understand who's a real leader and who's a cheater. Then Naishamatis Tavadarukramangreen. That's not the right. Anyhow, that's also another one which goes along with that. Naishamatis Tavadarukramangreen. Sprishat yanata bhagavo yanarta mahiyasam pararuje vishekam diskinchananam nanavritti yadva. That we can actually understand to take shelter of someone like Srila Prabhupada, who showed the best example of how to live in the material world, how to take prasadam and honor prasadam. We never heard of Prabhupada, here's prasadam. Prabhupada actually honored prasadam. He slept in Krishna consciousness, regulated. He had relationships which were always appropriate, materially and spiritually. For the ladies, he acted like a little baby, like a little child to them. And to the children, he acted like a loving father. It wasn't that for the ladies, he acted like all the ladies, he acted like a father, and for the children, he acted like a little baby. Prabhupada knew how to reciprocate appropriately with everyone because he was in Krishna consciousness. So he's our example. Not only spiritually, always absorbed in Krishna's service, but also materially, how to live in the material world in a way that can help us become Krishna conscious. And therefore, as Prabhupada once said, salt to taste. That we have to figure out. That if you want to have a nice meal, if you have no salt, it's tasteless. And if too much salt, then it's also you can't eat it. So salt to taste. Put a little salt in your tongue, just enough to make it tasteful. And then material life will be satisfying, and then we can fix our mind on Krishna to get the ultimate satisfaction. So I'll stop there. What time is this class supposed to be over? 8:13. Okay. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
You were mentioning that we have to tolerate dust, and I found it a very beautiful point. And usually I'm thinking that, yeah, I'm so lost in some, but this to really separate ourselves from these enemies of our is actually very powerful. Maybe you can speak a bit about it.
Yes, we should. Lamentation and hankering are eternal. We can't get rid of them. In the spiritual world, devotees are hankering for Krishna, Krishna is hankering for the devotees, and they're always lamenting when they're separated. So here we're hankering for material things, and therefore we're hankering for, and we're lamenting that we're separated from the things that we're hankering for. So we just add Krishna to it, and then it becomes spiritual. Same hankering will be there, same lamentation will be there, but it'll be for Krishna, that's all. So, and then material lust will go away, but spiritual greed, spiritual, what they call lust, which is different from material lust, but which is real lust, will manifest itself. But that's enjoyable eternally. It ever gets sweeter. And here lust becomes it has its limitations, and it's not so, very limited amount of happiness we can get from it. But that spiritual lust, spiritual greed, spiritual frustration, Krishna is not here, the gopis are crying like anything, but they're experiencing Krishna's sweetness even more when they're crying at a separation from him. So that's the art. Just add Krishna. As Prabhupada once wrote to one Gurukul student, the Gurukul student sent Prabhupada their math problems that they solved. That 1 + 1 is 2 + 3 is equal to 5, and 3 + 2 is also equal to 5. So Prabhupada wrote back, he said, very nice, you're learning math. But this math you should learn, that 1 plus Krishna plus anywhere is equal to Vrindavan. So if you learn that math, then your life will be successful. So Krishna plus anything is equal to Vrindavan. So that we have to do. Add Krishna to whatever we're doing. Anything else? Yes. There's always one devotee in the crowd who always asks the question. You don't have to pay them, they ask the questions. Yes.
It is actually a fact that Krishna is always telling us what to do, but sometimes we are unconsciously or consciously ignoring him.
Well, that's very good, if it's only sometimes. You're doing quite well.
So, how would you be more connected with Krishna?
Don't worry about it. Maya will help. Maya will help. Krishna bahir mukha bhogavanchitare nikatastha tare japatiyadare. As soon as we turn our face away from Krishna, Maya comes and slaps us. The only thing we have to tolerate, not try and slap Maya back, that's all. And then we're really, well, Maya's slapping, there must be something wrong I'm doing. Maybe I should remember Krishna a little bit more. So we just have to be a little aware of what's going on, and then we'll see, well, it's time to remember Krishna again. Take shelter of Krishna. It's a team. Maya and Krishna are a team to bring us back to the spiritual world. All right. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gaur Premanande.
Thanks for 11 class, that was really good.